Hi Rishabh, how are you?
Doing good, sir.
Congratulations once again, my dear. So for securing All India first rank in CMA final also.
Thank you so much,
It's a
sir.
double bonanza for you.
Yes, sir.
Right. So I need a small favor from you. Just I need guidelines from you, especially when it comes to two subjects, okay? One is SFM and another one is SPM BB. Because in both these papers, you got excellent marks. When it comes to SFM, you got 81 marks. And when it comes to SPM BB, you got 93 marks. So why don't you suggest us how to prepare for these two or how you have prepared for these two papers? What are the precautions a student has to take before at time of preparation before appearing to the examination? So please go ahead.
Yes, sir. For SPM BV, it is of two parts, SPM and BV. So the BV is very similar to the SFM part. So 50 marks is covered from the BV, and mostly problematic questions come from the BV part. And I'm also doing CA final. So that was already covered in a subject called AFM in CA final. So I didn't separately prepare for the BV part. For SPM is mostly theoretical and few problematic questions. So I just saw the first few chapters of SPM. I read the entire institute material. I saw what are the important questions. I saw masterminds material as well. I saw what are the important questions that are being asked repeatedly in exams, because masterminds material also has the past exam, all the compiler of past exam questions. So I got to know what is the trend of questions that are being asked in exams, and accordingly those questions I prepared for SPM part. And so I would say for SFM, same thing for SFM also. I prepared from C. I already did my CA final, so there was a paper AFM which is exactly same as SFM. So my entire coaching helped me for SFM and CMA final. And So how did I prepare AFM for CA final was I there are a lot of formulas in AFM. So I maintained notes where I wrote all the formulae or whatever are applicable, and the last day before exam I saw all of those formulae. I used a red pen to mark whatever points I have to revise the day before exam, and I also made a notes of mistakes. I
So
in
you
those
used to prepare,
notes of mistakes.
so you used to prepare quick revision notes, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I used to prepare a lot of charts in exam, charts in my notes, charts and whatever mistakes I do. So whenever I solve a problem, if a particular mistake I'm doing, I used to write that mistake in a separate book. So before exam, I used to see this mistake, so that it's most likely that I'll repeat the same mistake which I have already done.
So
So I
it's a
used to
lot of
prepare those notes.
practice.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
lot of practice, right?
Uh, Lot of practice. Yes. For AFM, I did for CA final also. I did some two or three revisions.
Very good.
Uh, so lot of practice. I used to solve multiple problems using pen and paper. I used to not just see the problem. I used to solve them on my own. So the questions in exam, when the question there is a very limited time in exam, we have to solve the entire paper within those 3 hours. So unless you are practicing very well, you will not be able to solve the entire paper. And hence, I used to practice mostly in each division. Even in my second division, I practiced a few very hard problems using pen and paper. So in the first revision, I practiced 100% using pen and paper. And the second and third revisions, second revision, I solved the hard problems using pen and paper. And third revision, I just saw what are the important concepts and what are the LDR markings that I have made. LDR is last day revision, whatever I have marked using red pens.
So one more thing, Rishabh, when it comes to SFM, students generally find it difficult, especially for one chapter called as portfolio management or derivatives.
Yes, sir.
So any suggestion regarding that particular chapter, now how they need to cope up with that particular chapter, especially when it comes to revision, because they find it difficult, especially in that particular chapter,
Yes, sir. So
which
actually,
revision
portfolio
issues.
management chapter is very much dependent upon the basics which we had studied in CA foundation or CMA foundation, the statistics part, calculating the regression, correlation. If a person is first, he has to be strong in those basic concepts. What is regression? Unless he cannot directly go and solve portfolio management without understanding what is regression, what is correlation, what is covariance. So first, he has to have a proper understanding of the basic terminologies that are being used. If he is not aware of those, obviously many of them will not remember what they studied in their CA or CMA
True,
foundation. So they can
true.
just brush up those concepts. Or what is covariance? Or not only the formula, what it fundamentally means. Both of these things. Now then they will be able to better understand now how beta is actually derived. So it is the slope of the characteristic line. So once they understand what is beta in the regression equation, they'll automatically understand what is actually beta. So I would say first you have to be very clear with the fundamentals, all the formulas and the fundamentals. Then once you are very clear with the fundamentals, so I also did the same thing. First I saw the CA foundation material. What are all the formulas in CA foundation? I all the correlation and regression
So
chapter
you have
entire
gone to the
formulas.
basics.
Yes,
You have
sir.
gone to the
And once I
basics.
was yes, sir. So once I was strong with these problems, portfolio management was very easy for me. It was one of the easiest chapters for me.
Okay.
Like almost every formula is just a derivation of the basics which we had learned.
So any other suggestion for SFM paper as well as the last elective paper?
Yes, sir. So one thing is being very thorough at the formula. For all the formulae, you have to maintain a separate book for all the formulae.
Okay.
It's not possible that you will see all the problems the day before exam. So at least you have to ensure that you're at least proper with the formulae and the concepts.
Okay.
And for these days, even theory questions are being asked from SFM. So even for theory questions, you can maintain a separate you can whatever mnemonics you're using, you can maintain a separate a book that these are all the mnemonics that I have used, or these are all the important questions. And what I used to do was this technique helped me in audit. So I got 93 in audit in my CA final. So
Okay.
what I used to do was I used to maintain a lot of sticky notes. I used to stick them on the wall, and then whenever I am free, like whenever I am bored, I used to see those sticky notes. And then, well, actually, when that particular question comes in the exam, I used to remember that sticky note, whatever I had stuck on the wall. That exactly, like I used to not write the entire question in the sticky notes, only the key points.
So basically, it's a revision of important points,
Yeah.
even in your revision,
So
even in your relaxation time.
yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
That was actually very fun also. Like
Yeah.
my entire, there was one very big wall which was entirely with sticky notes. And I randomly used to see and I used to put a tick mark on whatever sticky notes. So almost every sticky note had some three tick marks. That means I
Okay.
have seen each sticky note for three times.
Three times.
So then by the end of my leaves, I was very thorough with all the sticky notes. So almost for all the difficult questions, I had done this technique. I was very clear with like at least I know that I am able to write the key points in the all the questions. So I would say for this practice particularly helps in theory subjects.
Okay.
So even in SFM, wherever theoretical questions are coming, you can follow this technique. You can write for even for SFM. What I did was I wrote all the formulas on some 2 or 3 pages and I stick those formulas on the wall. And I used to remember all of those formulas while say I am coming from bath after a bath. So I'll just see those formulas and I'll just tell. Now, when that particular chapter comes, I used to automatically remember. No, when portfolio management chapter comes, I used to remember, okay, these are all the formulas in portfolio management. So ultimately, it is constant revisions and practice. There is no key to, there is no shortcuts to success, I would
Success.
say.
True. 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 Continuous revision, multiple times revision, so
Yes,
that
sir.
you become comfortable with the subject.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Rishabh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the advices. All the best for your
Thank you
future,
so
my
much,
dear.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.